Hi, Graham from Penguin Motors here. Today we're going to talk about one of my customers' car. The car I'm concerned is a P6 Rover 3500. Customer's name is Hugh. The vehicle here is for some upgrades. The intention is to fit a performance camshaft, some Rework cylinder heads, and a few induction tweaks, just to give it a bit more get up and go. Preliminarily, I started to pull a few pieces off, and I just decided that before I was going to delve too far into it, I just wanted to check to see how far the throttle's actually opened. I was staggered to find that full throttle only produced, or full throttle at pedal, only produced about a quarter throttle at the engine. Surprising really, because the car actually went reasonably well. By removing various stages of floor mat, I progressively got bigger and bigger throttle openings, but it wasn't until I'd removed all the mats, all the carpet and the soundproofing that we could actually obtain full throttle at the carburetor. So clearly there's something not quite right with the linkage, because I can understand how some extra floor mats might stop you getting full throttle, but Rover can't have intended you only got full throttle with no carpet whatsoever in the car, so there must be an issue somewhere with the carburetor linkage. Glad I found it now, because that's easier to fix at this stage, and it could have proved head scratching after we'd done the engine work and found that it still didn't really perform.
Here we have the leakage tester connected to number 3 cylinder. We've got a 30% leakage, which isn't that unusual given an engine of unknown condition, but obviously a fair chunk of miles. The camera can't see it. I can actually hear the air leaking through the crankcase up through the valley. If it were to be leaking through a valve, or certainly through an inlet valve, I would feel it coming through there. Likewise, down here, I can put my hand under the exhaust manifold. It's not leaking through the port. That is air going past the piston rings.
Here we have the pistons out of Hugh's Rover. Very dirty, very grungy looking, but other than that they appear to be okay. One slight peculiarity is if I zoom in on these two, we can see we have two different sorts of oil control ring fitted. No idea why this might be. It may be because the engine suffered a problem early on in its life and it had a piston replaced, or it may just be random part selection by the British Leyland store manager, who knows. A cursory glance at the bores look quite good. Clearly the piston rings themselves are well worn. If I can zoom in on this one, there's a big step just there where the rig is thicker at its very outer edge. This is the unworn portion. Such level wear is usually caused by dirt. What happens is the dirt will sit in the ringlands of the piston, the ringlands being the grooves in the piston itself, there. And every time the engine fires, the ring is pushed down, and where you've got a soft material like an aluminium piston, it gets dirt, grime embedded in it, the hard piston ring rubs on it, and the effect is the hard piston ring wears away. So absolutely this is going to need a minimum of some new rings. There was one upside to pulling the pistons out. It gave us a chance to look in the sump and the bottom of the engine. Looks pretty gungy in there. There's a lot of thick, gooey slime, gritty, greasy. Looks horrible, but in reality it's about par for the course with a fairly aged, high mileage engine that hasn't had the most number of oil changes.